Hey, everybody, and welcome to Kind Soup. We're cooking Cookie and Kate's Thai Curry Butternut Squash soup today, and it's really good. I made a batch of it last week, and it was quite spicy, so I was using a red curry paste. I'm going to try a green curry paste today and see how that differs. And I would just suggest, depending upon what you're using, maybe hold back a little bit on the red pepper till you see what it tastes like after you grind it up or blend it.
How many tablespoons of red curry did you use that made it
So I went for 8 right from the start, but I'll tell you what I did, which was really foolish and really delicious. But I like spicy, and I brought some over to Dominique today, and she and her husband liked it too. Wait till you see this, Marsha. I said I used red curry paste, but it turns out what I thought was red curry paste was hot pepper paste, the delightful guachagong or whatever you call this stuff. So I really overdid it because I thought I had this red curry and this green curry, but that's not at all what I had.
Yeah, this is the red curry.
Yeah, that's what you're using, Julia, right? Yeah. Yeah, it should be great, but I still think because of the comments I've read in the notes on the original website, I'd put the red peppers in at the end when you taste
it.
What would you use if you don't have ground coriander?
Oh, I wouldn't even worry about it. Anybody have some ideas for coriander replacements?
I ran out. I bought fresh coriander, but not. I used every last week.
Yeah, so, I don't think that's going to be a big sticking point. Does anybody? Lisa, you already made yours, right? Tell me all about it.
Joyce, you can use curry powder. You can use curry if you want instead.
Okay, I will.
I just finished about 15 minutes ago, and my house smells so wonderful.
Yeah.
It's like a festival for the nose. I can't wait to try it with the toasted coconut and some of the coconut milk.
So you didn't put your coconut milk in yet. You did it. Oh no, I forgot. You follow the recipes. I was talking to me or Marge for a minute. Well, for all the rest of you, you absolutely can go ahead. Lisa, don't listen. You can go ahead and put the coconut milk in before you blend it. It will be absolutely fine.
I was wondering about the amount of liquid. I have 8 cups of vegetable broth in now, and I have 3 butternut squash, which comes to like at least 9, if not 10 cups of squash cut up. And it seems to me that I already have a lot of broth in there. I have another 4 cups that I'm thinking about putting in. Did anyone put in the full 12?
I did. It was great.
I did, and I had probably 11 to 12 cups of butternut squash. My soup is thinner than perhaps
Okay.
So I would hold off on the other cups of broth, and then at the end, you can always throw it in.
I can add them as I blend, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. I just started to oil. I need to sit.
Julia, what did you think about the amount of liquid?
Well, I haven't blended it yet, but it looks like it's a good ratio. But I bought cut up butternut squash because I'm lazy. And so
I have to say, and I don't know if you get used to it, but before we were cooking soups every Monday, I used to think peeling the butternut squash was just a pain in the neck. You know what? You get into a rhythm, and these babies cut themselves now. It's the peeling takes a teeny little bit of extra work, but I think you get used to it, Julia. You gotta
get in there.
Yeah, you gotta push through.
Anyway, I bought a lot of butternut squash cut up, about 5 packages. And but it seems like it's a good ratio with 12 cups of broth. So yeah. I mean, when I'm looking at it, it looks like it's a good ratio. So
good.
You need to know that I just used the final 3 butternut squash, not all the squash, final 3 butternut squash from the Har Shalom Sukkah. This is the end, Now, that
Aw.
being said, if you can see behind me, you see those orange things?
Yeah.
Those are some kabocha squashes that are cut up waiting to make a second soup after I rest and relax.
What wine are you relaxing with tonight, Marge?
Oh, just some the cheap wine we like. There's a Noble Vineyards 337 Cabernet that happens to be on sale this month, so this is what we're drinking.
I
But that's
love
not why I'm relaxing. I went to the doctor today.
it. And what did he say?
He said you
Or
really need to,
she.
he said you may not need to do it today, but if you don't need to do it today, you're going to need to do it. And and I said this, in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, it's just going to continue to get worse. And
Right.
I got to see the CT scan, so I got to see what's, my actual shoulder and how it's supposed to be 50-50,
Yeah.
and instead it's 84-16, which is not a good thing. So my shoulder is basically falling out the back, and don't ask.
So you're going through with the surgery.
Yes, I'm going through the surgery.
All right, everybody, on the 30th, think of Marge. Happy healing thoughts.
Oh, happy healing thoughts. I told him I didn't like the green picture he had because they actually custom build. I'm having a reverse shoulder replacement. So basically they're switching the location of the ball and the socket. And the picture is like kind of this neon green. And I told him that magenta was the color of the year. And I insisted upon a magenta replacement. And of course he knows I'm crazy and said, okay, fine. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right, well, I'm glad that you went to see him and you're still smiling.
I feel better. I feel better. It just
Good.
has been put off for so long now that.
What's his name?
His name is David Lutton, Lutton.
Okay.
And he's got a great reputation. He teaches at GW, and he's partnered. They only do, I think they mostly do shoulders and elbows and hands. He does the shoulders. Fox does the hands. I think they meet in the middle for the arm stuff. And I don't know what they do.
Marge, I have to interrupt you to tell Hannah something very important. Hannah, hi. You Hi. You had asked me about how spicy this was, and I said, oh, it's quite spicy. And then I realized why my soup was even more spicy than it was supposed to be, because I took out what I thought was my red curry paste from the refrigerator, but it actually is that red, what's it called? Hot pepper paste. So I made it very spicy. And I think I went and I read all the reviews on Cookie and Kate's website, and it shouldn't be as hot as what I made, but still some people suggested maybe not having to use the red pepper flakes if they're using the red curry paste. So I would use your curry powder because that's how you like it. But you don't have to take me as seriously as you don't yet know that you never need to take me. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I didn't know whether to try like half of the
I think
red.
you could happily do half, because I even liked it, and I went overboard with a hot pepper paste. It's a delicious soup. The reviews on the website are great. I just brought it over to someone for them to enjoy it, and they loved it. It's a really good soup.
Okay, I'll be brave.
Okay, good.
I also used a red chili paste because that's what I happen to have.
Yeah.
And I only used, it's called for 6 to 9 tablespoons. Well, someone dropped soup off on Sunday and I tasted hers before I put it away. I don't normally do that, but I actually opened hers because I was curious. And I thought it was, I'm not great on some of the spices, and I thought it was too spicy. So I only put in 2 tablespoons of that. And if I need to bring up the spice level, I'll add red pepper flakes at the end.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, but it's, it smells great.
Oh, you're all done, Marge?
It's simmering.
Simmering, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, for
haven't blended.
everyone who's just doing it, we put our onions and squash in. I would hold back unless you've already put your garlic in. Hold back a little bit because that stuff burns faster than than onions and squash. So I would hold back a little bit, but maybe start putting your spices in too, so that as the onions and squash are cooking, the spices cook into it.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question about cutting the squash. Does
Yes.
anyone end up with a coating on their fingers that really is very bizarre. It's that gooey stuff that
I wonder what I'm doing wrong, that I like cutting butternut squash and I don't
Ah.
get gooey fingers. I am
That's
doing.
Lisa, that's a common allergy. I have it. I always cut
Oh.
squash with purple gloves on.
Oh my goodness.
The only allergies I have are always contact dermatitis. I have all sorts of skin issues, and squash, I found out your hands, if you don't, I had purple gloves on. If you're not wearing the gloves, they'll kind of puff up and get waxy and swollen. And that's, yeah.
I
Do you
just
have
get
that? They
like-
get tight. That's a
Totally,
butternut
yes.
squash thing. Just wear
Totally.
gloves. Just wear gloves.
My
It's the
hand-
only-
all shrivelly and weird.
Yes, yes,
And I
exactly.
have atopic dermatitis. So, oh my gosh, I put my hands under hot water and they were
Weird.
just burning.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting. It's an allergy.
I looked it up years ago because I get all these butternut squash and I make all those little mini loaves, but I always do them with gloves on. Because I thought, what wine are you drinking, Lisa?
You guys are a wealth of
Just a
information.
minute, I
I
will
love
show
it.
you my luxury wine.
Are you drinking champagne again? What is it? Is it Japanese? Is it sake?
No, this
Hold
is
it up a little.
this is something I learned about last year. It's 12 nights of wine. It's just these little bottles that come. Everyone is different. Most of this box is from Spain. So it's just a nice way to have a couple of ounces of wine to
Is it
start.
like a little test tube size thing?
Well, it's bigger than that. It's probably, I don't know, what do you think, 4 ounces? And it really is neat because I've tried some French wines, some Spanish wines. I normally wouldn't buy maybe the bottle of them, but what the heck? It was a real indulgence that I did. And I bought a box for a friend of mine because they're really wine people. So anyway, it was just a kind of cool thing I learned about last year.
How
That's
cool.
very nice. I meant to tell you that the capabunga is something that is very interesting. It's a plastic, I can go pull it out of the drawer. It's a plastic thing that you can use to seal a champagne bottle. And Lisa will go pull hers out of the drawer. And it actually works. I mean, it obviously isn't going to work for a month, but it works for a while and it's kind of cool. And it's just a plastic, whatever. They were on sale on Good Morning America, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was all excited. I only have, mine isn't black. Is it? Maybe it is.
No, they have all different colors. They have
Yeah, wasn't Lisa the one who told us about it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very excited when I saw them. But I thought, I already have one of these. I should have bought some and given them as gifts. It would have been a good thing.
Great
But
gift.
they were great for sealing, especially with the holidays coming up. If you're going to open a bottle of champagne and maybe you don't finish it, just get a capabunga maybe for next year if you don't have one this year because it might be too late. But these are really, really, these are incredible. The best thing I've ever found at keeping Prosecco or champagne fizzy.
Do you know what I realized? This is very upsetting. We will not be drinking champagne on New Year's Eve. Or I might be drinking champagne, but with all the drugs, I'll be on. Who knows?
Guess we'll all just have to sacrifice Marge and have a glass in your honor.
At least everyone has to have a glass of champagne in my honor on New Year's Eve because the surgery is the day before.
We will do that for you, Marge.
I know, sacrifice. Thank you.
Exactly.
So where are we supposed to drop off the soups since you'll be out of commission?
Calm down, calm down. Okay, so we're not cooking next week, right?
Right.
And plus the hub had all sorts of crazy hour things going. I couldn't even pay attention to what they were doing because I knew we weren't cooking. So the goal is to drop off tomorrow. If you don't drop it off tomorrow, either keep it in your freezer or get it over to me before the 30th so I can keep it in my freezer. And the following week, I guess, let me look at a calendar.
Probably the 7th.
Okay, so the next time we're cooking is probably the 9th. Isn't that true?
No, the second.
We are cooking on the 2nd? Well,
Yes, we're gonna make a fantastic chicken, leek and lime and
Okay.
rice soup. Delicious.
I wish you'd done borscht that day. It would have been
I
borscht.
really thought that a nice, yummy chicken soup to start the year off after
Yeah.
everybody will have been all exposed to all kinds of COVID-y kinds of things.
Okay, so the answer to your question, Joyce, is that I'm obviously not taking anything anywhere on the 3rd because I won't be able to drive, A, because my arm will be out of commission, and B, because I'll still be on drugs. I don't know about the 10th. I suspect I'll be well enough to cook on the 9th, but I don't know if I'll be able to deliver on the 10th. I should be able to deliver on the 17th. I see him for the follow-up visit on the 11th, which is 12 days after the surgery. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, God willing, I heal fast, because if I heal fast, I can A, get my arm out of a sling, and B, wear a bra. Remember those things, bra? Oh. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely not the 3rd,
Who needs
possibly.
bras?
Well, trust me, I need a bra. Or two.
Enjoy the freedom while it's forced on you.
Oh, God. But you know, the other thing is I'm not quite sure how, you know, the arm has got to be like sort of down. I got the sling today. It's got to be kind of down here and kind of a little forward. It's not clear to me how this works. I really need to try the sling on, but I just got it this afternoon, and then I had to cut the squash instead. I also was reading something. The reason we don't know people who have had shoulder replacements is because there are only 53,000 of them a year in the US versus the 900,000 hips and knees.
Oh,
A big difference.
Yeah. Deb, what
Yes.
about here to help? Are they're not collecting this weekend, are they?
I haven't been told that they aren't.
Well, when is Christmas?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know what? I'll double check and I will adjust. I'll actually text you, Julia, because I
Yeah,
wasn't going to be in
because-
town, so I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, because if it's Christmas and they're off,
Yeah,
I don't want to bother them.
You're probably right. I'll text her while we're cooking.
Ask her about Christmas and New Year's because
Okay.
it's both.
Will do.
Deb,
And
can
if you guys wait, sorry, what?
And you will also send a note to your buddy up at the Up County, the guy who was so responsive, and ask him, because Luis was busy trying to figure out, he's not really the scheduler. He was just helping because last week they had the whole parking lot closed off for some parade they were having that night. So he had to move cones because I wasn't going to move cones. I didn't know what they were there for.
Yeah,
But he was busy telling me about their crazy hours. So you might
I'll
wanna-
try to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, just so you might want to put it on the website and say, you know, closed, blah, blah, blah.
The problem is that most people just kind of know and they don't go to make sure, but whatever, we'll try. You guys are probably now, your onions and all the spices have been cooking for about 10 minutes. So you can add your broth if you want, and then we can get back to some serious chit chat.
Should we put in the coconut milk or whatever it is?
So what I did, I mean, they tell you to put it in after you blend,
Yeah,
but what I
after.
did, Hannah, was you can put it in before you blend, but you don't need to cook it, you know, through and
Right,
through. So
right.
I did it kind of before I blended when it was
Okay.
done cooking. Yeah.
Good idea.
Deb, how about the toasted coconut? When would that go in for us?
You know what? I don't think I would put it in. I did sprinkle some of the toasted coconut and the cilantro on the soup, and it was delicious. But I think the toasted coconut would just kind of be a weird thing in it. So I don't know that I would do it. I kind of like the cilantro. I haven't decided whether to put that in yet before because it's such a pretty colored soup. Do you want like green leaves? I don't know. You can go either way with that. The flavor was nice, but on my test soup last week, I did not put the cilantro in when I froze it.
Okay.
What do y'all think?
the person who delivered to me used both the toasted coconut and the cilantro. Now, among the things I don't eat are toasted coconut. So that was never an option for me. I could taste it a little bit when I tasted her soup, but the cilantro was really nice. It did look very pretty with the soup with the green
Well,
thing.
then, yeah, I'm going to chop it up today and just put it right in there because
She put it on top. She had it on top.
yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I did, by the way, add about 2 cups more of water. So I'm now up to 10 cups of water. It definitely, as it simmered, boiled down and it needed the water.
Okay.
So Marge, you simmered it uncovered, I guess. That's how it boiled down.
I did. I simmered it uncovered. I didn't see that it said covered, but I easily could have missed it because, I'm doing 6 things at one time, including fixating on the shoulder.
Yeah. Okay, I covered mine.
You did?
Yeah.
And did you feel like you lost liquid? Or
I don't know.
not?
It's happening as we speak. I don't know.
You make it sound so exciting, Joyce.
So how was the Tempest?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Really good.
Holly, we can't hear you.
I'm going on Friday. Tell me all about it.
Oh my God, it's great.
It is.
All right. So for those of you who are don't know what we're talking about, at the Roundhouse, sorry, Hannah, it's in Bethesda, but we believe it's coming to New York. At the Roundhouse in Bethesda, there's a production of Shakespeare's The Tempest reimagined, and it includes Magic by Penn from Penn and Teller.
No, Teller.
I'm sorry, Teller?
It
No,
includes
Teller.
from Teller. That's Penn.
Okay. And
Is he the one who speaks or is he silent?
yeah, the speaker. I don't know, whichever one the speaker is, he's the one. And then Dance by Palaboulos and music by Tom Waits. And it's, at least this is what I thought, which may be a simple reduction of something far more mindy, highbrow. But I felt like the plot, whatever. But when and maybe I feel this way because I have a kid at home who's like, I don't know, how do you start your big life? What do you do? Doesn't matter. Add a little music to it, add a little magic to it, add some comedy to it, and some friends, and you got your life, right? And that's what I thought. That play astounded everybody in the audience because of all those joyous and surprising and fun elements. Not because the plot was I don't know. What do you guys think who saw it?
I agree with you about the magic. I really thought it added so much to actually see this stuff. The only thing that bothered me was I didn't think that Prospero was quite nasty enough. You sort of missed the bit where he's trying to be vindictive. And yeah. If I hadn't known that he was trying to be vindictive, I don't know that I would have thought that. I don't know. Who else was there? Lisa, you were there.
I think he was initially, but then I think he kind of changed heart.
Totally, yeah.
Too fast.
Not for me, Marge. I'll tell you why. What was the spirit guy's name?
Ariel.
He kept that Ariel strong along until the last second. So I disagree a little bit. I thought, come on, you son of a gun. How can you hold on to this guy? So I really did think that I believed when he turned the corner, and I was so happy. Yeah.
I guess that the vindictiveness to Ariel was not my problem. It was his vindictiveness to his brother. What's his name? Antonio or whatever. That's where, he's always trying to get even. He wants to get even with these guys who basically threw him out of Milan and threw him out of Italy to this island somewhere. And that's where I thought it fell a little bit short. That being said, my background on the play is I had read description, the summary of the play a couple of years ago when I read the book Hagseed, which is an adaptation. About 5 years ago, some group decided that they were going to take Shakespeare plays and they wanted people to reimagine them and whatever. And Margaret Atwood wrote Hagseed about this, which was about a prison, about someone who has all sorts of issues, that he's teaching English or whatever in a prison, and he's getting the prisoners to put on this play.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it's an interesting book. So because I wasn't really familiar with the play, I had to go back and read the summary back then. So seeing this now, it was kind of great. But the performances were excellent. The magic took it to a whole nother level.
Mhm. Yep. You will love it, Holly.
One of the
So
neat
excited. I
with
can't
this-
wait. This
with
is
the
great.
staging was
Wait,
having,
Lisa, start again. We couldn't hear you. Go ahead,
one of
Lisa.
the neat things I think about the staging was having the orchestra pit above, so you could see the musicians.
Yeah.
So that really made it was special.
That being said, this was the second play I saw this week. So if you have the opportunity to get down to the Kennedy Center, A Soldier's Play is there. It won the Tony in 2020 for Best Revival. It was originally produced in '81. It was a stupendous production. And surprise, surprise, I've now seen 2 plays this week that the Post actually gave good reviews to. It's like,
Do you want a
Great.
third? Want me to tell you about a third?
well, I normally disagree with the Post. So I was like, oh my God, don't they appreciate whatever? What I thought about this play, what I really appreciated, is the effort that the actors have to make to do this play. It is, the physicality of it is
You're talking about not A Soldier Story, about The Tempest.
actually about both of them, but yes, yeah, both of them really, but more The Tempest, but
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Well, I'll recommend, in case anybody else is looking for some theater during the upcoming holidays, or even in January, there's also at the Woolly Mammoth a show called Just for Us. And it is a one-man comedy show. You know how sometimes these stand-up comics are doing plot-based kind of one-man shows now? And this is a guy who, and people were laughing for the entire hour and a half. It's very, very funny, but it's also very serious and pretty timely given what's going on in our area as well as the country. He was doing a comedy show for the BBC, and he not a podcast, it was before a podcast, a radio show, and somebody wrote something really hideously anti-Semitic to him online, and he answered, and the other guy answered back, and he answered back, and the other guy answered back, and then a whole bunch of people who had anti-Semitic tendencies were writing to him. And one thing leads to another. I'll spare you all the details because hopefully you'll go see it. He went to a meeting of self-proclaimed Nazi types in Queens, New York, years ago. And this is a show about him being there at this meeting, but he tells you all about all kinds of parts of his life in the retelling of this episode. And for something with such a serious topic, it is hilarious. So if you get a chance, Lisa, I don't know, weigh in, Lisa. What do you think? Am I describing it accurately?
Yeah,
or
I think he is a master storyteller and a master weaver of weaving things together into whole cloth. I particularly enjoyed his mother from the Midwest, who is Jewish, but a little more relaxed and open, and his father, who is more conservative and a professor at MIT, and the Christmas event they held at their home for his mother's close friend who had lost her husband. And so this was an act of compassion on his mother's part, a lot of consternation on his father's part. and a lot of bewilderment and excitement on Alex and his brother's part.
They were like 5 and 6 at the time or something crazy, and they were so
That
excited.
story of a Christmas tree in the garage in Boston in winter was really incredible, but truly an act of compassion and generosity of spirit.
Yeah. And then getting yelled at by the Jewish school because the kids went and said, we did Christmas. And they said, your
Santa
kids are
Claus,
lying.
yes. So
Yeah. Another, I mean, it's incredible when in DC you have 3 great theater options at the same time.
how lucky we are.
Yep.
Well, if you want something completely lowbrow and fun and silly and delightful, we went to see Drunk Shakespeare in DC before Thanksgiving. And it
So much fun.
It was so much fun. It was great.
Oh, good.
I mean, it was just silly, and I'd seen something very similar in Scotland at the Fringe Festival, and it lived up to it. Just silly, fun, giggles, and they serve cocktails, so it's fabulous.
Drunk Shakespeare and drunk theater goers. It's all good.
Yes, it was a good match, and it just was such a fun night of laughter. So I would recommend if you have guests coming into town and want to do something, there's tickets available. It's like seating in the round, very relaxed, fun.
Where is it, Holly?
Do you know where? Well, this is my night, our itinerary. Do you know where the Museum of the Word is? The new one about it's a linguistics museum, just off H Street and oh gosh, something square. I'll think of it, but it's in the middle of downtown.
Okay.
It's really easy to get to. Parking was 2 seconds. It's in an office building. That was the hardest part, was figuring out exactly where it was. But then there was a crowd of people and they looked happy. So we said, that must be it.
Aw, that sounds
we
great.
actually went to dinner at Immigrant Food in the museum. Do you know where that restaurant is? Because that's right around the corner. Immigrant Food is fabulous, and you'll love it. It highlights different cultures every month, and so that's the best night out.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Not highbrow. Prepare yourself. Very body and funny, and yeah, a lot of cursing, but that was great. So, any other recommendations of fun things to do in town? I'm taking notes actually as you guys are suggesting things. I know there's some fun light festivals and drive-through. I've heard there's one over in Tyson's that's kind of pretty, and
We're going to the light festival at Brookside Gardens, which we've done before.
oh yes.
Yeah.
That's always good, as well as, don't forget zoo lights.
My daughter performed at Zoo Nights for years with the Musical Theater Center. Such good taste. But also the one out by the Bay Bridge, I'm assuming they're still doing it. It's Lights on the Bay, where you drive through in your car. It's so gorgeous. And the bay and the bridge is on the horizon. So I'm going to do that when I go get my mom. That'll be hopefully a quick trip home. Okay, back to cooking.
I just did the first blending and it smells really good.
Good.
And I did put the coconut milk in, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, good.
Oh, at the end, you mean the coconut milk, once you poured it in the container?
No, I did it before the blending. So it kind of melts in, and then I blend. And,
Okay.
And I think it's the right call.
Okay, good, thanks.
Open. I had cut my butternut squash really small, so mine's done. I don't know if anybody else's who just started at 5:30.
Yeah, mine is done too.
All right.
Took pretty fast.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't heard about Museum of the Word until last weekend. Tom Sietsma reviewed immigrant food or mentioned it for as a recommendation and said it's right in the Museum of the Word.
It's in the basement on the ground
Yeah.
level. It was so wonderful. I can't wait to go back. It was delicious.
Yeah.
And it menu keeps changing, so it's fun. You know, you never know what culture they're.
I think we really need an outing. Marcia, maybe we can mix the suggestion you had made to go down to the what was the exhibit about the books?
Oh, it was in one of the Smithsonian museums, right? About the making books and yeah.
And we need to end up at immigrant food, I think. That would be such a fun day.
That sounds great. I'm in. But I couldn't believe I didn't know about this word museum because my son and his girlfriend met over entomology. And she's from Rockville, but they met in New York. They both live in New York. But it's like, how did none of us know about this museum? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a great place. I looked it up after Tom Seitzma mentioned it, and I want to go there. It looks really fun.
New, right?
2 years or something.
Oh,
That's why I was like, how did I not know about this?
Yeah. Well, you've been kind of busy, you know.
I think that's the problem. It looks like it opened during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it opened, does it say March? What did it say here? I just looked it up. Yeah, May 31st, 2020. Yeah, like
That's bad timing.
Yeah, like where were we going? I was walking the dog. It was very exciting.
Yeah.
Welcome to my life. Yeah,
the hours are not universal. Like I forget which days, but it's not every day, so you have to be aware.
It's closed Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
And it looks like it's open 10 to 5 Wednesdays through Sundays, but watch out for Christmas Eve and Christmas because it's saying hours may differ. But yeah,
makes sense.
I think we should go on December 30th, and I'm going. I got nothing else to do. So I want to go back to the soup for a second. I actually, as I said, I put in 2 tablespoons of that chili paste as opposed to, or whatever it was, not what it was supposed to be. I only put in 2 tablespoons, and it's so hot that I immediately put in the coconut milk just to even it out, and that's fine. So be careful. Gingerly enter spicy things.
What did I miss? Marge, are you scaring people?
No, I put in 2 tablespoons. Now, I don't like stuff killer spicy.
Yeah.
But I put in 2 tablespoons of whatever it is I have, the Thai chili. I didn't put in whatever it was. Pepper paste. I don't know what it was. I could go pull it out again. But yeah, I only put in 2 tablespoons. Thank goodness. I'll tell you what I really.
I cut back on mine because of what everyone said, and I think I have to add a little bit more, but I'm using the actual red curry paste. Or Thai.
This is ground fresh chili paste. It's sambal something or other.
I don't like spicy, and mine is not overly spicy. So
how many tablespoons did you use, Julia?
I use 6.
Wow.
Okay.
So, but it's not overly spicy, which is good.
But you use the right one, the regular one you're supposed to. Yeah.
Red Thai curry paste.
Yeah.
As opposed to chili paste.
Yeah, no, I use this, which is what was in the recipe. Plus, I used coriander and cumin. So I did the recipe. I will not add red pepper flakes because I don't like them.
I used what was in the refrigerator as opposed to what was in the recipe. So
well, that's a problem.
You know, when I was reading the people who wrote in on the recipe on the website CookieAndKate who created this recipe, and everybody loved it. And then this one person writes in and says, of course, "Oh, this was the best recipe I ever made, and you're such a genius," and blah 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 blah. And I only gave it 4 stars though, because I substituted this for that, and this for that, and this for that, and this for that. I feel so bad for CookieAndKate. She makes a great recipe. This woman decides to use what she's got in her refrigerator and takes a star away because of it.
I always laugh when someone says, "This was a great recipe, except I did XYZ did," and I'm like, How is that even the recipe?
Right. And what about, Julia, when they criticized the recipe, but they didn't make it the way she said to make it?
I
Or
know.
yeah.
And it didn't come out, it fell flat because X, Y, Z. Hello?
Yeah.
Rita would like to taste the soup. Rita managed to taste my bagel. I had gotten up to get the other half of the bagel out of the toaster, and I already finished one. And who do I see licking my plate? So if
I
it's
have to
getting
say,
your plate,
this green curry one is
Mhm.
delicious too. Totally kind of different than the pepper paste, but I am gonna like chop up the cilantro and put it in. I think that'll be nice too. Delicious. Marge, when you have your surgery, your husband's got a lot to take care of. The cat, the dog, you, the soups. Right.
David can take care of tuna fish. He does very well with tuna fish. He's a tuna star.
Excellent.
So the reason the kabocha squash are sitting back there
Yeah.
is that I found a pumpkin lentil soup recipe that I tried the other day that was really delicious and didn't require incredible chopping. And I thought this is an interesting recipe because it says to cut the onion into wedges. So I made, this is a small onion, so I made like 8 wedges. That's fine, I can do that. And a yellow pepper, also in strips. I cut everything in strips. I thought, how am I going to eat this? But it worked out very well. It really was a delicious, it had some curry, it had some cumin, had some ginger.
Okay.
And it
Will
had
we
some
be making
lentils.
that with you next year?
I don't know. I'm looking at it. I got 2 quarts out of this. So I'd have to triple the recipe to get it up to a reasonable amount. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how I feel about it. Oh, and it includes 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Of course, you know me. I'm not going to buy pumpkin if I have kabocha squash sitting downstairs.
Right.
So I've got what I have left is delicata and kabocha squash and a couple of spaghetti squash, which to me are the most boring things in the world.
Huh.
Yeah. The only thing they're good for is if you're making spaghetti and meatballs and use them instead of spaghetti. But I tried all sorts of casseroles when I had an abundance of them last year. And
I bet Marsha's got some good spaghetti squash recipes. Do you, Marsha?
You're on mute. Unmute.
I was running my blender.
Yeah.
So I love spaghetti squash because it's just so cool. I'm just like, no matter how many times I make it, I'm so amazed every time it forks out like that.
Yeah.
So I will look at my my recipes because I feel like I just wing it every time, but maybe I have a recipe. I'll look.
The only recipes I found that were tasty, and again, I'm not a real spicy food person, were the Southwestern ones where you threw in some salsa or some tomatoes and peppers and onions. My mother, who is an anti-vegetable person, she never was a vegetable person. It was like a big deal to have vegetables. When I was in high school, we were eating spaghetti squash. Now, this is a while back. I realize I'm 33 now, but this was a while. This was over 50 years ago. We were busy eating spaghetti squash. It was actually something my mother would make.
Huh. I didn't even know they had spaghetti squash back then.
Yeah. I don't know how she found it. I don't know where she read about it, but she was able to get hold of it. And I agree with you, Marsha. It's the coolest. When you scoop it out, it's like, look at these things.
Yep.
Oh, strings.
How about Denise? Denise, do you have a good spaghetti squash recipe? I don't know if she's there.
She's vanished.
I'm here.
Oh.
I usually just put Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, and a little bit of oil.
Butter, Parmesan. It can't be bad, right?
Yeah. Do that with a lot of things. Yeah, I haven't branched out much with spaghetti squash, but it's always good that way.
Yeah. When I was looking for casseroles, when I was trying to make casseroles, because I had so many of them last year, I wanted, I was freezing the casseroles and we were delivering them up to Up County and whatever that other place was. And I didn't want to just do butter and, and garlic and basil. It was supposed to be, I was trying to create a meal and it was just a difficult thing to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, Southwestern cheese and salsa and whatever. It was okay. It just, to me, was kind of,
Yeah.
and of course, cooking several dozen spaghetti squash could make you crazy also. Like the butternuts this year, at least we've had different soup recipes that I keep using the butternuts in. I didn't have to make anywhere near as many squash breads. That said, I'm sure I made well over 100, probably well over 200. And those are the mini loaves. I had big loaves too.
Well, all right. I like the soup. I don't love the color using the green, but it's spicy and yummy. And I like the green cilantro floating around it.
I'm out of wine. Does that mean the call is over?
Getting there. You want to get another little quarter of a glass of wine?
No, I have to cook. I have all those kabocha squashes that I have to deal with.
Okay.
I have to have some night skills
Good plan.
because otherwise we'll end up with finger transplants.
No, you've got enough surgery scheduled, although you have a surgeon behind Holly right now. Hi, Tony. All right, how's everybody doing? Hannah, you good?
Mine's still boiling. I'm a little behind.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Have you tasted it yet or not yet?
No, not yet. I will once I've blended it.
All right. Well, good luck with it.
I love soups that are easy. This is a wonderful soup. It's like just throw everything in and let it go.
Yep.
Deb, what did yours look like with the cilantro added?
Glad that you asked.
Let's document this.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, why is your color so funny?
Because I use the green paint,
As
the
opposed to
green
the-
instead of the red. That's what I'm saying. I don't love the color, but I like the taste. I'm going to put another lime in. I'm going to use 2 full limes in this thing.
Oh, I haven't done that yet. Am I supposed to do? I didn't put them in before I blended them. I figured.
No, you put it in after. Yeah, and then you
After.
can taste it and decide how much you like it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that my soup is definitely a lighter color than the one that was delivered to me. I don't know why. I don't know if she just had darker orange squash. It's possible.
Yeah.
Or maybe like me, she misbehaves and uses kabocha squash instead of butter. I didn't use kabocha squash. I really used butternut in this. The kabocha for the other recipe instead of the cans of pumpkin.
We trust you, Marge.
Yeah.
My
All
squash is still cooking because I didn't have any prep time before we started, so I'm a little behind, but it'll be good.
Good. All right. Are you feeling like you need any help from any of the people who've already cooked it, or you're good?
I don't think so. I got the advice on the paste, so I'll go easy on that and see what happens.
Okay, good. And I'll let you guys know, I haven't heard back from either Up County or Here to Help, but I put the text into them, and when I hear back, I'll let you know. And otherwise, have the most fabulous holidays. Have a wonderful surgery for anyone who's having surgery.
March.
And I will see you all on the 2nd. Join me to cook this chicken soup. It's a really yummy one. Get your
March on drugs, that should be interesting.
March on drugs is going to be a lot of fun.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
Yeah, happy
Who's
holidays.
showing up
Happy
tomorrow?
holidays.
Joyce, you'll be here tomorrow, and Lisa, you'll be here tomorrow. Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Great.
I can deal with that. I'll see you tomorrow morning then.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you next year.
Woohoo!